Cincinnati is an indisputable German town, and its German heritage has left an indelible imprint on every aspect of the city. German immigrants played an important role in establishing an important industry. In 1841, the Neyer family followed in the path of many others who came from northern Germany. By the turn of the century, Joseph Neyer Sr. and his sons were working together on commercial building projects throughout the region. As time went on, the Neyers' contributions to the Cincinnati building community became bigger, more architecturally complex, and more prominent. Joseph Jr.'s son Alphonse incorporated the business in 1947, and by this time, the buildings constructed by the Neyers were becoming landmarks. In the 20s, when Joseph left the business, Alphonse was running the company, just in time for the Great Depression. He had amassed a portfolio of land for development, but lost it all when the bank called in the loan. And like the rest of the country, he did what he could to make a living. Alphonse and his wife Gertrude made sure that their 3 sons developed a strong work ethic and received a good education. Values were instilled early in their lives, and the sons were guided to graduate from college. They all worked for the company.
He was a very quiet man, somewhat introverted. He had strong views, stuck to them with resolution, never deviated from them. And he felt that he was in the service business, so his job was to service the needs of the clients, and he did that very well. The company struggled for many, many, many years. We were a conventional contractor working on the plans of others, and we weren't particularly successful. We endured. We figured every school and church that came along, and my father had built 37 of them by the time he retired.
And as his sons took over more of its operations, Al Neyer had the forethought to create a document on how he would treat his sons. He called it Rules of Conduct in Relations with Father and Sons Associated in Business. It insisted on mutual respect and problem solving. The document continued to be important over time as later generations joined the company. It was a roadmap on how people should treat each other, a brilliant idea for a family-run business.
He wrote these things to himself to say, I got to treat my sons the way I would like to be treated. And so it was his resolution to himself to treat us and give us the opportunity to express ourselves.
Well, Grandpa, I think he'd be really proud of what this business has become, something that was sustainable for multiple generations. Again, having the diversity of thought growing on and really keeping the tradition of being a Cincinnati-based company that continues to give back to the community.
I think he'd be surprised at the scope and scale of the business. I think he'd be quite amazed at some of the scale of the projects, individual projects. I think he'd be impressed with the fact that the core of the business, the integrity, the honesty, the integrity, the taking care of each other, taking care of community, carried on.
They have been very successful in development and the design-to-build process, and worked on some of the most high-profile projects in the region.
Our largest project in company history is going to be our first 1 million square foot building. Very proud to say it's going to be directly across the street from Amazon's Aero Hub. And that Aero Hub is going to be the second largest commercial building on the planet.
Today, the employee-owned company that bears Al Neyer's name specializes in urban mixed-use developments and build-to-suit commercial spaces.
I say often that what really fuels Al Neyer as a company is its core values, and many of our core values today are rooted in the values that Al Neyer himself developed. One thing that Al Neyer said was that everything had to be analyzed and evaluated. Today in our core values, we call that digging the details, and that's really what drives our success, is our attention to detail.
Alphonse Neyer, one of the shapers and builders of our wonderful city.